Yeah, so welcome. So just to answer some comment here saying about the land video that we made, so yeah, so there's a comment saying that the buyer is the one, where's that? The buyer is the one, the seller is the one who paid the capital gain tax. So yeah, it could be happen, it could be happen on that cases also. But on our case, in our personal experience, we bought the land, and then when we process the papers, to transfer, we are the one that paying the capital gain tax. But we just found, we really don't know. I really specifically for me, it's my first time to buy a land. It's our first time to buy a land, so we really don't know the whole process about the land. That's why we always said go to the source. So in our personal experience, so we bought the land, the one that deal on the land and telling us, and including the owner, said that it's complete papers, there's a title. So we really don't know about what could be the possible, what are the things to be considered. So now that we're processing the land, we learn all the way what is needed. So now, yes, we are the one who pay our capital gain tax. But as far as being explained to us, it should be the seller, the one who sell it. But it should be an agreement. It's kind of an agreement before, in other words, before you enter into buying the land, you should tell to the seller that, look, I want the capital gain tax to be shouldered on you. So you should pay it. So there are instances like that. So now that we just found out that, oh, we need to pay the tax, we need to pay that, it's kind of hassle, but we need to do it. We need to do it because we need to transfer the land. So now, there's somebody commenting that saying it should be the seller that pay that capital gain tax. Yes, it should be according to the law. It should be that the seller will shoulder the capital gain tax. But there are also cases that it should be talked first, understand first between the buyer and the seller. That before the buyer give the money to the seller, he should tell the seller that, look, you need to settle first the capital gain tax. Or if the buyer is really know the process about taxes, he or she should deduct. In other words, she or he deduct the whole amount on the amount of the land, less the capital gain tax, and whatever the net is the one that the seller gonna receive. There are instances like that. So on our case, we we didn't know that. So we didn't know the whole process. So now that we know it, it's an experience. It's an experience. But as I says, you go to the source. What are the things to be considered? And at the same time, now we pay the capital gain tax. On our case, we pay the estate tax because the owner and the heirs are, some of them is already died, so we need to pay for that. So yeah, I pay the capital gain tax, and we pay the estate tax, but there are kind of discounts, something like that. So yeah, the one who comment that the seller would be the one to pay the capital gain tax, it can be because that's the proper on buying the land. But it can be also if the buyer knows exactly what's the process, then he will tell the seller that, look, you need to settle all the capital gain tax before I'm going to get the land. Or I wanted to capital gain tax to be computed, and then it will be deducted on the sale. So by that, I will be the one to buy it. I will be the one to pay it out of the money that is being deducted by the sale. So for example, the land cost 1 million pesos. So the seller wanted to sell the land for 1 million pesos, and then the buyer knows about the capital gain tax. So the buyer will ask for the computation. Yeah, so as I says, For example, you bought the land for 1 million pesos, and then you said the capital gain tax, this example is 50,000 pesos. So since you are a buyer and you says to the seller, look, that's the capital gain tax. So so you want to deduct that out of 1 million pesos, that is the value of the land, that the seller gonna want. So you're just gonna give 950,000 to the seller. So by that, when you're gonna process your papers, and pay the capital gain tax, you got the money there. Because there might be the instances that the seller said, okay, I'll pay it, but later he didn't pay it, and then the money is not there anymore. So that's another thing. So as I says, I'm not really good on land, so go to the source. Have a great day. I'm just sharing it based on our experience. Bye bye and God bless.